Hey, it's Janelle. One of the things that I've been talking about in my Diamond Activator group, which I'm going to do a 3-day on 3-day wealth codes alignment class in for 33, which I think is freaking fantastic. But anyway, one of the things that I just was speaking about is, are you making decisions based on your bigger picture, your end results, or are you making decisions based on a collective container of wealth and opportunities have to be done a certain way? One of the things that I find with spiritual intuitives when I work with them is, while they might be highly attuned, there's so much in this bigger container, right, of life and experience, that they forget to focus on the smaller details of daily choices that are aligned with that bigger picture of themselves, or even defining a container, right? And there's so many, experiences out there on a daily basis that we can choose from, right? Logic, ego, all of these things. And most of the time, what I find with intuitives, especially, and this is why I wanted to do the 3-day live, was because most intuitives line up with and choose to be in abusive relationships or suffer from abuse because there is a frequency in there that they need to understand. The other thing too is, most of the time they line up with narcissists and abusive things because it allows them to stay in a disempowered version of themselves. And we intuitives are the generator. We are the fire. We are the igniter. We are the engine that gets things going. But we have guilt and shame about standing in our power, in our fire, in our alignment, because we get judged most of the time by others, especially in the spiritual community, for being, fully expressed, for being aligned, for being all that we can be. And myself, as a fully embodied channel since birth, there's never been a wake-up call or a woke moment. I literally get new spiritual talents every day. I know that that's not the norm. I did early on in my life try to look for someone who was like me. But what I needed to understand was, it wasn't about finding someone like me. It was about building the container for others to feel fully supported, and to have someone such as me, like a coach. It's hard. It's even hard for me to give those parameters around it as coach or client, or those things, because for me it's not that experience. It's when I work with clients, it is a full immersion from day one, from the day that the payment is made or the agreement is made. It is a full immersion. There's no disconnect. There's no thinking about. I literally move with you in this experience. And I kept looking for a definition, how does that person do it, or how does this person do it? Not because I wanted to understand my own, but I was like, I don't do it that way. I don't want to do it that way. And I had, coaches in my experience tell me to pull it in, to rein it in, to, not be so much, not be so, because the other thing about me too is that I channel and and I teach at the same time, so it can come off in my videos that I'm stuttering or I'm stumbling over my words. And the truth is I'm trying to mix containers, and I needed to find a place for that. But my question is about, are you making those decisions that are aligned with that bigger picture? Because, you know, over the years, I chose to take classes around like marketing or whatever, not the spiritual stuff. That stuff I love to learn, so I'm a learner. But when you make decisions that are not aligned, you feel it. And when you're making decisions that are not about that bigger picture, you feel it. And so it really is this space of, are you choosing to think about that end result? Because the truth is, when I say end result, I don't mean just who you're going to be 5 years from now. I don't mean who you're going to be 2 years from now. I don't mean who you're going to be next week. I mean, are you leaving your mark here? And can you think about what you want to leave your family? What do you want to leave the world? What is your vibration, your name, your soul going to represent? And some of those things may not need to come out into the world until you're gone. For example, I have one particular journal that I want my kids to publish after I'm gone. That's thinking about your honestly, looking at your mortality, because you're not going to be here forever. And the way that I have always lived my spiritual experience here is thinking about, what is my life going to represent? And what are the choices going to represent that I have made along my journey? You know, not perfect. No one is. I've made mistakes along that journey. I've hired coaches that weren't aligned with me. I've had all kinds of experiences based on me making decisions that weren't in that bigger picture. And the truth is, we need to let all those things be seen and shown and demonstrated. It's not just about the current moment. It's about making the world a better place. And truly, if you're committed to that, then the decisions you will make are not just about your own expression. Yes, they are, in a way. But I had to, one, accept the responsibility of bringing this container this way here. And that, for me, was a big ask. From the beginning, when I first started working 30 years ago, 30 years, I've worked with clients in this way. In this way. I've taught classes for 30 years. I've led meditation for 30 years. This is not my first rodeo. But what is the fact of me explaining it to you based on what you need to be accessing and thinking about now. This is why I have created the container that I've created. And that's what I consider my social media to be. A container for amazing souls to connect with, hey, I wasn't thinking about that. Hey, I'd like to have that. Not from ego. The truth is, no spiritually aligned soul that I have seen has ever honestly come from that place of ego. It's just not a part of their experience. That's not who I attract anyway. So with that being said, I encourage you to sit down and think about what that bigger picture is for you. What are you going to leave this world with? What is your name going to represent? Have you done that every day? Bye.